Really good ones this year. It's a .96 whip. 88 strikeouts in 61 2/3. Fastball's good. Slider's elite. When he gets to that point, there's a lot of swing and miss.
He'll start with freshman Gavin Grahovac, who has had no issues in his first year of college baseball with SEC pitching, and he looks at a first pitch strike, 0-1. Grahovac is from the West Coast out of Orange, California, an OPS over 1,000. Those are his overall numbers. 11 of his 16 home runs have come in league play. Breaking ball misses away, 1-1. Another breaking ball. This one's hammered in the left field corner and yanked foul. It was a collective ooh from the LSU faithful who have gathered here tonight, and had to wait another half hour before first pitch because of some threatening weather in the area.
Well, A&M knows the scouting report too, and in plus counts and really in about any count, Holman is comfortable going to that slider. That one elevated, and he's lucky that Grahovac didn't make it 1-0.
1-2 pitch is hit that same direction. This one stays fair and bounces off the left field wall. Grahovac into second. It's a leadoff double for the freshman.
He's been one of the best freshmen in the country all year. So slider just took foul. Now he takes 93 up in the zone and hooks it fair. For Grahovac, he's been an extra base machine the entire season. Jim Schlossnagle talked to us earlier this week, said you don't know exactly what a freshman's going to be coming out of fall. Well, Grahovac's been maybe even better than they thought he would be. Leads it off with a double here.
And he's in scoring position for Jace Laviolette, who hit his 24th home run of the season last night. The first offering upstairs to Laviolette. It was a first inning home run for the sophomore, who has now gone yard in 4 consecutive games. And he was playing catch with a pigskin pregame. Breaking ball low and in. You mentioned that fastball for Holman. Opponents hitting just 193 against him. The Division I average against a fastball is 303. Grahovac has already touched one for extra bases. Laviolette third in home runs with 24, just a tick in front of the guy behind him, Braden Montgomery. There is no break in this A&M batting order. 2-1. Swing and a miss on 93, 2-2. The scouting report for Holman shows both slider and curveball. When will he use either?
Well, curveball is more of a strike stealer, and he tried to do it the first 2 pitches of this at bat. Just missed with both. The slider is more of a swing and miss pitch.
And misses with the slider, 3-2. Or was that the curveball?
That was the slider. So easiest way to tell, curveball is going to be in the 70s, slider is going to be in the 80s, and curveball will have a little bit more top to bottom.
Payoff pitch to Laviolette with a runner at second. Just missed with the fastball inside, and there are 2 aboard with nobody out, and a big stick foul. This is Braden Montgomery in his 3rd year of college baseball. The first 2 years he spent with Stanford and ended each season in Omaha. His first year, he was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. His OPS over 1,300. 23 home runs, 18 of those from the left side. In fact, he's hitting 110 points higher with an average from the left side, and the curveball is waved at 0-1. A Mississippi native out of Madison Central High School. Perhaps the biggest portal pickup in the offseason. Pickoff attempt almost hit him. Michael Braswell III, the shortstop for LSU, didn't seem like they were on the same page there.
No, he went earlier, and that was kind of his reaction. He thought he was going to get the spin earlier, and it was a count or two later, which you're not going to get him there, and it makes it tougher for Braswell.
Fastball up 1-1.
It's a timing play on that one. For a pitcher, you turn around to see when your shortstop breaks. When he breaks, that's when you spin and go, if you're in fact going to try to pick him off, and Holman waited a little bit too long.
Upstairs, 2-1. LSU took game one 6-4 last night. The Aggies were powered mostly by home runs, 3 solo home runs. Laviolette hit one, Camarillo hit a pair. They were not good with runners in scoring position, and the breaking ball's low and in, and the count 3 balls and a strike to the RBI machine, Braden Montgomery.
So that 2-1 take right there is what Montgomery has got a lot better at this year, and that's just pitch selection. 2-1, recognized slider, was looking for something middle of the plate, didn't get it, lets it go. Now he's in an even better count.
Just off the plate inside again. It was a fastball that missed the Laviolette, and then a breaking ball to Montgomery, and A&M has loaded the bases here in the opening inning.
They both looked off the plate. I mean, watch the glove, watch Milazzo. Yeah, if we're trying to bring it back 6 inches, it's definitely off the plate. Close enough to swing at, both took, and after the leadoff double, now back-to-back walks, A&M has them loaded with nobody out.
And then catcher Jackson Appel at the plate. Appel had a couple hits last night, and he sends the first pitch into left field. Josh Pearson sets up camp. Tagging from third is Grahovac. He'll score without a throw. And the Aggies on the board first on the sac fly from Jackson Appel.
Well done at the plate, well done in the outfield too. There's no reason to try to make that throw. You know that Grahovac's going to score easily. Appel looking for something early that he can get airborne deep enough to get the Ags on the board.
And so here's our buddy Hayden Schott. Had a nice visit with the Ivy League transfer during the game last night. Fastball in. And a count 1-0 to Schott. Senior from Newport Beach, California. Came up with an RBI single in the 8th inning to drive home the final run for A&M last night. Breaking ball inside. Out of Newport Beach, he went to Culver Military Academy in Indiana, then Cypress College before heading to Columbia, and ended up playing 2 years in the Ivy League. First team All-Ivy and a school record dozen home runs. Breaking ball up and in, 3-0. Montgomery the runner at first, Laviolette in front of him at second. And a fastball up. Third walk of this opening inning from Luke Holman. You think you've gotten through the top. Camarillo played at Cal State Northridge for 2 years. First team All Big West Conference. And in for a strike, 0-1. Two long balls last night. 4 of his 6 have come in conference action. And a ground ball foul of third and Tommy White. This LSU defensive team has not been impervious this season, but one of the highlights has been their double plays. Second most in the SEC. They've turned 29 of them. That 2 last night. Bases loaded in the first. The 0-2 to Camarillo. Breaking ball lifted to right field. Long run, Ashton Larson into the corner, and he makes a catch against the fence. Tagging is Laviolette. And he'll scamper home to make it a 2-0 A&M game.
Tell you what, Camarillo didn't miss another one by much right there. Recognized breaking ball, trying to take it the other way, and that ran the freshman Larson all the way to the base of the wall. Scores Lavalette easily. Montgomery heads to third, and 2 sack flies in the first give the Ags the early 2-0 lead.
So here's Caden Sorrell. .291 average, 5 home runs. And again, the fastball misses glove side for Luke Holman. Sorrell, freshman from Highland Village, Texas. 4 home runs in league play, 5 overall. Coming off of a 1 for 4. Sorrell from Flower Mound Marcus High School. Flinches at that breaking ball, 3-0. But what are you seeing from Holman? He's already at 26 pitches. Yeah.
He's just a little off. I mean, the slider is more of a swing and miss pitch, and ultimately for it to be a good swing and miss pitch, you got to throw strike 1, and he just hasn't thrown strike 1 a whole lot yet.
Delivers it there. This is his 4th 3-ball count of the game. He walked the first 3. Holman walked 3 last time out and started against Auburn in the entire game. 3 walks in this opening inning. 3-2. Second full count of the opening frame, worked by A&M, a very patient team. And a line drive into left field. That'll get Montgomery home. Headed to third is shot. And the Aggies keep it rolling here in the first inning.
Tell you what, Caden Sorrell has really come on in the last month or so. The freshman, and Grahovac, I mean, deserves everything he gets. He's had an amazing freshman season. This kid is really lengthening this lineup right now. Gets a fastball center cut down. Just waits on it, drives it the other way. First 3 of the game reached for the Aggies. Now the first 3 of the game that reached have all scored.
Eight-hole hitter Travis Chestnut at the plate. Breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Chestnut struck out a couple of times last night. The senior from Pflugerville, Texas, finished the game 1 for 4. Back-to-back breaking balls, 0-2. Holman's 0-2. Fastball up. Travis Chestnut spent 2 seasons playing for Temple College in Texas. Temple College Leopards. One-two to the 5-7 Chestnut. Breaking ball for strike 3.
Won't wow you stuff wise maybe on the weekend, but they get more swing and miss than you think they should.
Ashton Larson is getting another start in the leadoff spot. Freshman from Kansas City. His homered 3 times. All 3 of those home runs have come against SEC pitching. He had 2-hit night last night, scored a couple of runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. One.
I think this is probably your leadoff hitter for the next 2 years for LSU. Ashton Larson has fit really well into this slot. He's been great in the SEC where most of his starts have come.
Talking with Jay Johnson about the freshman. He said he really reminds me of some good left-handed hitters he had at Arizona. And some guys that they've had here at LSU. Kate Beloso, Trade Morgan. And he draws a leadoff walk. Never want to walk the guy in front of Tommy White, but that's exactly what Justin Lampkin has done to start this game. White, one of the most feared hitters in all of college baseball. Last year led the nation in RBI and was 5th in school history in runs driven in. Popped it up to shallow right. Montgomery towards the line. 1 down.
You know,
White
Tommy
swings at the
White's
first pitch.
That's
Well,
exactly where I
throw
was
that
going.
in there. We're going the same way, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. You know he's going to swing at the first pitch if it's close, and A&M not afraid to challenge him right there. Makes it a little bit easier when you get a 3 spot in the first, but that's the MO. I mean, if he gets something right away, he is not afraid to go swinging.
One on, one out. Here's Jared Jones. 2 for 4 in game 1, and he tips it into the mid of Jackson Appel. 0-1. Sophomore from Marietta, Georgia, out of Walton High School. His nickname is Bear. His brother's nickname is Moose. If Moose is bigger than Bear, then those are some wide doorways of the Jones household. Smothered by Grahovac, and a beautiful play over at the hot corner. The retired Jones, 2 down.
Well, Grahovac, who had made just 3 errors on the year coming into yesterday, had made 2 yesterday alone. Now making up for it right here. Lays out, gloves it, doesn't even barely have time to get to his feet. Throw on line over to first. Targac goes down, thinks maybe he's got to dig it out, but instead catches it in the air. That's a big out right there. Down the line, that may not score 1, but at a minimum, LSU's got guys on second and third. Instead, now there's 2 outs.
Couldn't get the landing gear down. That was a belly landing over there at third. Josh Pearson swings at the first. Big at bat for Pearson last night in the 6th inning with the bases loaded. We showed you that earlier. 2-run double for the junior from West Monroe. Pearson's been coming up with some big hits lately. Had the game winner Saturday against Auburn in a walk-off. One and 2.
That low 3/4 slot that Lampkin has works perfect if you can throw the elevated fastball and keep it right there. And that's what he tries to do. It's not often guys from that slot can keep the fastball at the top of the zone to where it doesn't sink. If he can do that, that's a tough night for hitters.
Runner at second and 2 down. To the right side, Lampkin trying to cover, and it pinballs off of 2 Aggies. First Targac, then Chestnut, and LSU will extend the inning. A&M came into the weekend 6th in the country in fielding percentage. Last night they were sloppy with three errors, and this one not clean.
Yeah, this is not Targacz's ball. This is one where you sprint right to the base. He gets that far. It's a much tougher play if you got to make a throw to the pitcher instead. Plenty of time in this case for Chestnut to get there. His momentum's taking him towards first. You gotta let that ball go, get back to first. If he does, the inning's probably over. Instead, LSU now still with life.
Targacz making just his 17th start of the season. That was his 4th fielding error. And Hayden Travinski looks at the first pitch just off the plate. This is a tight, if not accurate, strike zone from Jason Bradley, home plate umpire. Travinski's OPS over 1,000. And Travinski pops it up. .296 average with 14 home runs for Hayden Travinski. He's driven in 44. Two balls and a strike. Travinski was part of a controversial play in the bottom of the 8th inning last night, which first looked like a home run and then ruled to be in play. Finally decided was spectator interference. 2-2, and that ended the inning with an automatic out for Travinski, and they escorted that fan out of the building. Apparently did not come with any sort of ban because same dude rolled it back today.
An insider knowledge.
Tip foul. May just be the same seats, certainly same row.
Still got a glove. He's looking at you though. Look at him. He's eyeing you right there. There's Hart. I heard what he said last night.
2-2 pitch. I'm not even sure he touched it last night.
He doesn't need to. And that's the question is whether or not the glove goes over the field of play. And there wasn't a camera angle that showed whether it did or not. And I think that was what surprised me most about the call is if you can't see it and be certain of it, I don't know how you make it.
Be the 8th pitch of the at bat for Travinski.
Still looking at you.
Yeah.
You getting texts? Yeah, he's still talking about you. Still is. Did it last night. He's still doing it again.
That gentleman looks like a person who's seen some things and perhaps doesn't trust everybody like the TV announcers who keep talking about. Here's a 2-2 to Travinski. Pounded in the dirt at short. Camarillo and goes to second for the force. Ryan Targacz in the leadoff spot. And he looks at a first pitch strike. Mentioned Targacz getting the start over at first base today. He's been a regular in this Aggie organization since he stepped on campus, but seen the playing time harder to come by this year. Curveball in for a strike. But because of his leadership, awarded the special number 12 for Texas A&M, 12th man. It goes hand in hand. And Luke Holman just misses with the slider. 1-2. Goes down on the curveball, and that is strikeout number 2 for Luke Holman.
Tell you what, if he can find both breaking balls, and the last few hitters he really has, that's when Holman can be so good. The curveball is a very different look than the slider. Velocity is different. The movement is different. It's got a lot more north to south. Slider has some, but it's a little bit tighter. But when Holman has both of them going, that's when he can be lethal.
And a breaking ball misses inside to Gavin Grahovac, who doubled on a fastball in the first inning. Out of Orange, California, Villa Park High School, same high school that produced Aaron Boone, Kevin Costner, Mark Trumbo. Two and one. Popped out of play.
Breaking ball heavy this at bat to Grahovac. Slider he hooked foul, which if fair would have been a solo home run his first time up, then doubled on a fastball that was elevated.
Curveball up, 3-2. Third full count already for Luke Holman. And fought off to stay alive. Both of these programs took full advantage of the transfer portal in the offseason, including LSU grabbing Holman from Alabama. Swing and a miss. 3 straight Ks now for Luke Holman, 2 down.
When he gets it going, man, he can go on cruise control for a while, and it was uncharacteristic Holman the first 6 or 7 hitters of the first inning. He didn't feel like he could find anything. He's gone away from the fastball. He's gone more back to the 2 breaking balls, and now especially this inning he's controlled each one of them.
Holman facing Jace Laviolette now. And a fastball runs in on him. Laviolette with a walk and a run scored in the first, a first inning home run last night. Holman was a Friday night starter at Alabama with 7-4, the 3.67 ERA. Coming out of Wilson High School in Pennsylvania, he was the Blue Jays' 20th round pick in 21. He was asking for 7 figures. He turned down 3rd round offers of both $700,000 and $800,000, with teams knowing he wanted to go play college ball and try to improve his draft stock that way. And this past summer, he was, according to many, the best pitcher on the U.S. Collegiate National Team. The breaking ball, 2-2.
It was he and Chase Burns were probably the 2 most sought after guys that were in the portal last year. Burns to Wake Forest, who's been outstanding all year, and Holman has been that way too, coming into this game 6-3 with a 2.63 ERA.
Second best ERA in the SEC. Second best average against. Second most strikeouts, and he came in with a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. That's been inverted tonight with 3 walks in the first. Here's his 50th pitch of the game in only the 2nd inning. And it's a fastball waved out. He K's the side with State and Ole Miss doing it back-to-back seasons. And the work is in front of LSU to try and put together a good enough resume to get back. Michael Bradswell III, South Carolina transfer at the plate, and he rips this one to center field. Park will hold it. 7 national championships for LSU. The intimidator in right field shows all of those years, and their all-time history and even their recent history is something to be impressed by. They've been to the postseason 11 consecutive seasons, and of course won it all last year. They haven't missed it since 2011, and that year, well, they were 4 games under 500 in league play. And I think one thing to keep in mind with this LSU team, if you're trying to project where they might end up, yeah, they're playing better baseball right now. They've won 6 out of 7. Steven Milam sends that one into the right field corner and into the seats. But going back even with Paul Maneri and Pryor, this is a program that seems to play its best later in the year, especially Hoover. I mean, this is a team that's gone on plenty of runs to get deep into the weekend at the SEC tournament.
No, they have. I mean, for whatever reason, LSU gets on heaters late in the year. I think it's interesting to note, too, that Ole Miss team that won it all, they were 7-14 in the league. And I'm not saying LSU's got a chance to go win the whole thing, but there is life when you're 7-14 in the league, which is where LSU stood yesterday. Now, one win better than that today.
Sima Milam hitting .299, freshman from Las Cruces, New Mexico. And he looks at strike 3, 2 down. The NCAA selection committee leans heavy on RPI, but another metric that they will have at their disposal this season is KPI. That essentially judges your resume against what other teams would have done against your schedule and vice versa. Jake Brown looks at a first pitch strike. LSU comes in with a KPI of 33 today. So if you were to lift a team from the Sun Belt and put them in LSU's shoes and against their schedule, just using an example, the KPI is rated to judge who would do best. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and according to KPI, the best win of the season for LSU was a home win against Louisiana Tech. Shift is on for the lefty Brown, and he goes down swinging. Back-to-back Ks. For how you feeling after last night, buddy?
Really good. I think the win was massive. Like you said, Tommy at third base, I think he's made 1 error all year, so the defense really picked me up. And then me and Al were good on defense, but the defense definitely picked me up for sure.
I'm just curious, and I know you've answered this question probably about 1,000 times, but you know, you're a California native. You start your career at UCLA, and obviously you had to fight back from injury. But what was it about the SEC and LSU that made you think this would be a better fit for me long term to come over here and transfer?
Yeah, it was a big move. I've never been to Louisiana. Stay in the park.
And fly ball to right field. It will. Wait, so you had never visited before you?
No, I just bold move, just left. But yeah, my brother transferred from the Pac. He went to Arizona State, and then he transferred to Kentucky, and he really enjoyed it. He told me some things about the SEC that intrigued me, and I wanted to play against the best, and here we are.
Jackson Appel with a sac fly to his name tonight. Settles in from the left side. Okay, so culturally, that is a leap to go from California into Louisiana. What interested you or impacted you the most right off the bat?
I would say the people here are very welcoming, and the food. I love the food, the spice, but the people for sure, and then the baseball. I mean, the baseball is what I look forward to, and I got here last summer, so I got here early to try to get used to the weather. But I mean, it's getting to me right now. I was sweating a whole bunch yesterday.
There's a whole lot about Baton Rouge that is not terribly similar to Westwood.
Yeah, no.
The weather is definitely part of it.
Yeah.
The food is part of it. The culture is part of it. For you, though, I mean, you come out of high school, you're one of the top arms in the country, and then you got to go through injury, which is not easy for anybody. And you had to sit for over a year and wait while you were at LSU. What was that process like, and how's it been since coming back?
It was tough. I think anyone that goes through it understands the grind of it. But just winning each day was the biggest thing for me. My family helped me out a lot, but I just really look forward to my junior year this year, and it's going smooth so far. There's a lot of things I need to work on, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to be here with this team in this environment. It's amazing.
Here's Hayden Schott at the plate with 2 down in the 3rd inning. Schott drew a walk in the 1st inning. I was just going through my notes on you, Gage, and one of the things I noticed, and I think we got this talking with Jay, was that your fastball moves so much that sometimes people confuse your 4-seamer for a sinker. You know, just watching it, how do you get so much movement on a 4-seamer? What, from a grip perspective, because you got a ball in your hand, can you kind of show us how that works?
I think sometimes, especially this year, my slot's lowered a little bit, so I'm naturally running the ball a decent amount. Yesterday, the carry was a little bit better. It's a good pitch, but it's just normal. I mean, there's nothing too fancy about it. But yeah, like you said, sometimes it'll run. Most of the time, it won't sink too much. But yeah, the carry is what we're looking for, and just throwing it up in the zone, and then kind of relaying that with curveballs and sliders and whatnot.
So with that, what are you thinking at release when you're throwing the fastball? What are you trying to do when you let it go?
Rip the seams. Rip it right through the – I try to think of the top 3 boxes in the strike zone and just rip it through there. And that one kid got me a couple times yesterday, which is tough. But.
2-2 to Schott, misses upstairs, 3-2. How do you guys, whether it's you and Luke or other guys in the staff, how do you help each other throughout the course of the season?
Just locking arms. That's one of Yeski's things for us, just doing it together and being a team, and I think we're doing a good job of that. Oh boy, that's a good pitch.
For a ball to strikeout. Hayden Schott. There's plenty of SEC representation in the top 8. Here's Alex Milazzo, the 9-hole hitter for LSU. Including this Texas A&M team, which holds the #1 ranking in the country. They closed the regular season with a 3-game series against Arkansas. Kyle Peterson, we will be in Aggieland for that one. That should be a lot of fun.
For all of them, Tommy Hart. All 3.
I've got our reservation at the Republic already. 2-1 now.
That's why I hang out with you, Tom.
Milazzo has been a force behind the plate for LSU, and they had some injury issues they had to deal with. They came in with great depth at the catching position, but Brady Neal got a little banged up. And so Milazzo was back there for 6 straight games, fouls that one off of his foot. Probably could have asked Gage about Alex had we gone a little bit farther, but this LSU pitching staff has raved about the job Milazzo has done behind the plate. He's from Zachary, Louisiana. Been in the program for a minute now, 3-2.
You know what, Tom? We've seen Ole Miss do something similar, and that's go defense first behind the plate and try to make sure you defend, and then ultimately, you know, you may give up some offense, but it's probably going to save you runs and steal you strikes over the course of the game. Milazzo does that.
Up and out of play.
You know, he was on, well, of course you know this, but he was on Ben McDonald's travel team. I'm sure taught him all the tricks of the trade behind home plate. Ben known for his catching prowess.
No doubt. And Milazzo looks at a strike. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts. Justin Poco Lampkin now. 1 down. We'll go back to the top of the order. Mention the top seeds. And Schlossnagel's squad is sitting there at #1. Clemson is holding steady in the 3 spot, but they got their hands full with Georgia Tech this weekend. Tennessee and Kentucky round out the top 5. And Tennessee having its way with Florida now, I understand.
Yeah, they got a chance to run rule Florida in the deciding game of that one. It's 15-3 in the 7th. Tennessee, they scored 11 in the 6th.
Ball and a strike now to Ashton Larson. He'll walk his first time up. In for a strike, 1-2. Several texts coming in. Tom Hart text line, KP, wanting to be added to our reservation in College Station. Just a second. Chestnuts got it. 2 down. What if they offer to bring the corporate card?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hold off judgment for now.
Here's Tommy White. White has earned rave reviews for his defense this season. He was injured on opening day diving back to first base last year and played with an injured shoulder all year. That certainly impacted what he did defensively. Now he's trying to break out the bat deep to left field and into the bleachers. A Tommy White home run has LSU on the board. Only the 7th home run Lampkin has allowed this season. It's White's 19th. And Jared Jones on his way to the dish. Tommy White is a fascinating player in college baseball. He tore the cover off the ball his first 2 seasons. And a notorious slow starter. He's getting into the swing of things lately.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Look at that back foot. It's off the ground when he makes contact. I mean, everything is driving into that front foot. All the power moving forward. And for White, and he's one of the most complete hitters in college baseball. Charlie Condon's kind of separated himself from everybody else, but Tommy White's got a chance to hit for a long time.
Is that like a Scotty Scheffler swing we got going on?
Yes, a little bit to that. I mean, Frank Thomas was kind of the first one that I remembered that did that, to where the back foot would come off the ground. What's his back foot at contact? Everything going forward. I mean, that is maximizing leverage into that front foot. That ball was on the line, too. Off the bat, it looked like it was going to be a double in the gap, and had just enough to carry out for his 19th of the year.
Sarah Jones sitting on 19. They're both tied for the team lead, and Jones trying to jump ahead, and they've gone back to back here in the 3rd. The lightsabers light up and everything, and as the lights have come on at the box, the Tigers have found their swings.
Yeah, the 4th is with the Tigers in this inning, that's for sure. For Jared Jones, he wanted that team lead back. Lost it for about a minute and a half and then didn't waste any time getting it back. Look at the extension. Deep out of left center field. Now we're learning how to make plays. Attaboy, that's why you bring it. Left his seat. Look how fired up and surprised she is. Show it off, dude. That's a play, but back-to-back home runs for the Tigers.
And he's going to go brag about that one. Thank goodness the kid caught it, because the usher behind him was ducking, diving, dodging, like a wrench was coming at his head. Josh Pearson at the plate.
Do we do show and tell anymore? Does that exist?
It's a good question.
If so, that's making an appearance next week.
Pearson reached on an error his first time at the plate. He's been great as the weather heated up twice, named the regional all tournament teams. And showed some more power playing for Brewster in the Cape over last summer. And scorches one down the line and towards the corner. Montgomery gets to it. Pearson heading to second, and he walked in and somehow evaded the tag. Why dirty the pants if you can just tap dance your way into the bag?
Yeah, you better be careful with that arm out in right field. We talk about Montgomery's power, but Pearson just about got clipped by the arm. Gets in there in time.
Hayden Travinski 0 for 1 today. The back-to-back home runs from White and Jones. They become the first LSU teammates to go back-to-back since April 27th when Tommy White and Jared Jones went back-to-back.
Kind of knew where that one was going. It was a good sell, though.
It was also in the 3rd inning. That was against Auburn last weekend. There's a lot of talk in all of baseball. Kind of started in the big leagues. It has carried over into the college game that you are more susceptible 3rd time through the order as a starting pitcher. But with hitters like White and Jones, did you feel more susceptible when you're facing them even for the 2nd time? You're facing elite hitters?
It depended on what I showed them each at bat. I mean, ideally, you don't want to empty it the first time around and feel like you've got something that can show them something different every time that they come around. If you got to show them everything, so if it's a long at bat and there's a bunch of foul balls and you keep going to something else, then yeah, it makes you think a little bit more every time they come up.
Travinski, remember, had that near home run last night that turned into a little bit of drama with the spectator interference, and he got underneath this one, and this one will find the seats. But that, if nice play, sir. That would have been his 7th home run in 11 games, and that youngster got it off the carom. Quite a tear for Travinski. Half of his home runs have come against SEC pitchers. And he lines it the opposite way in front of Montgomery, who bobbled it for a moment, and that allowed just enough time for Pearson to scramble home. All of this occurring with 2 outs for LSU.
And it was 2 quick outs. I mean, for Lampkin, it was strikeout, then a ground ball, and the solo home run, the Pearson double, and now Travinski shoots one the other way. For Montgomery, he had a decision to make, too. Do you try to lay out and make the play? Instead, he stays back. The minute it gets away, that's enough for Pearson, even with that arm of Montgomery and Wright, to score easily, and the Tigers to tie it up.
This will be the 31st pitch of the inning from Justin Lampkin. It's Michael Braswell III. And one of the oldest phrases in baseball is that hitting is contagious. It is running rampant in the LSU dugout right now. Home run, double, and a hard hit single. And Braswell has been the 2nd best LSU hitter in league play, sitting at .343 tonight. He had an 11-game hit streak snapped Tuesday against Grambling. Wow. Touches this one into left, but just got underneath it. And Sorrell for Texas A&M. What a night he had last night. Pair of solo home runs. He drove in 2. He's already driven in a run tonight with a sac fly. And the count 0-1. Does Holman need to make an adjustment to the glove side fastball?
He's been pretty good the last 2 innings. I mean, I feel like he kind of found it after the first. The one thing, and I don't have it in front of me exactly what the stats are, but it feels like he's been better with the breaking balls, period, than he has been with the fastball. He started finding those breaking balls in the 2nd inning. He's kind of leaned on them, and I mean, you hope that as the game goes on, you find a fastball. Rarely do you have all three, but if you get to the point to where you have all three, that's when sometimes you can go on cruise control.
To short, a spin, and Braswell drops it. And it'll be his 12th error of the season. Most. They're going to rule that a base hit for Camarillo, and he reaches to start the fourth. And Caden Sorrell coming up. Swell with an RBI single his first time up. Camarillo 6 for 6 on the base paths. Now 12-game hit streak for Camarillo. Curveball in for a strike.
He likes throwing that first pitch of the at-bat. And it's interesting, and you don't see this very often, but for Holman, he actually lands the breaking ball for a strike percentage standpoint better than any other pitch that he has. So if you're going to try to steal a strike, it makes sense to try to steal one with the one that you throw the most strikes of. And there's not too many guys that are swinging at a first pitch curveball, and if they are, not too many that are going to do a whole lot of damage.
Nice block by Milazzo, but a scamper to second for Camarillo regardless.
Yeah, good break right there too. He just read dirt ball, didn't wait to see where it went off the block of Milazzo. Watch secondary, and then immediately when he sees it down, he's not waiting to see where the ball is, even though it's out in front of Milazzo. The early break by Camarillo gives him plenty of time to end up at second base with nobody out.
Two and one to Caden Sorrell. And now 3-1. A&M has only lost one series all season. That was at Florida early in conference play. In fact, it was the opening SEC series that is also the only other time they lost game one of a series. There's 2 on after the walk to Sorrell, and Travis Chestnut coming up. Florida at the time was ranked 8th in the country.
You go to Georgia.
Travis Chestnut is 0 for 1 of the strikeout looking. So one fastball his first at bat, and beautiful stop by Milazzo. He looked like Spider-Man clamoring after that one.
And he gloved it too. And watch him just throw his body out there, and that's not easy to do when you're in that one knee look, which we see so many more catchers doing right now. But goes down to one knee, then has enough leverage to throw his body out there. If it hits off the chest protector, it's going first base side, and everybody advances. That time it hit him right in the middle of the glove.
Nobody out in the fourth. Another breaking ball for Chestnut. Derek Malika is down the first base side. Said he went 1-1.
A&M on a year just 4 sack bunts. Chestnut does have 1, but that's not something you see the Aggies do very often.
Be like Picasso painting by numbers. Why would they need to bunt when they've hit 105 home runs?
So, Tom, that's why they don't do it very often.
You think Schloss even has a sign for it?
He just yells. Just bunt. It's like the old school Little League. Bunt. Touch my belt. Bunt.
Belt B, bunt B. A walk puts Chestnut aboard, and the bases are loaded.
That is now a season high in walks. 3 in the first, now 2 in the fourth for Holman, who looked like he had found it. After a rough first, set down a minimum in each the second and the third. Now the first 3 here in the fourth have reached, and that LSU bullpen will continue to work and now work a little bit quicker.
Camarillo at third after a single. Sorrell was walked and Chestnut walked. And here's the 9-hole hitter Ryan Targach. Chance to do some damage for number 12, and a curveball in for a strike. 0-1. Targach hitting .250 with the bases loaded this season. Open the season as the starting second baseman. Seeing action at first tonight. 0-2. Last year, Targach started 64 games and hit a huge home run in the SEC tournament against Arkansas. 2 years ago was second team all conference. Swing and a miss on a curveball, and he goes down swinging for the second time tonight. Strikeout number 5 for Holman against those 5 walks.
And he goes back to that curveball, which he's really trusted today. And for Targach, man, if he's going to get you, he's usually going to get the fastball. You get him in a spin count, and that's where he has a hard time. Holman took advantage of it right there.
It's now a 14-game hit streak for Gavin Grahovac after his first inning double. And he looks at a fastball for a strike. Grahovac is 1 for 2 tonight. His batting average sitting in the 320s. That glove side fastball found the edge. 0-2. The only time. Yeah, the only time Grahovac's batting average dropped below 300 this season was after an 0 for 4 game 2 of the year. Think he goes back to that fastball?
No.
Got him with the slider. Strikeout number 6, back-to-back Ks with the bases loaded, 2 out.
Even though 2 quick outs right here, job is not done with Lavalette and Montgomery waiting on deck.
And he sends a ground ball to the right side, foul. Laviolette is 3 for 9 with the bases loaded this season with 10 ribbies. Golden Spikes Award midseason watch list is the best player in college baseball, and 20-plus home runs for the second year in a row. First Aggie in their long history to ever accomplish that. 0-2. Holman trying to get out of trouble with the bases loaded. The 0-2 to Laviolette. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. A single, a pair of walks, and then 3 from this game. All right, let's
when you
kind of
started,
go big
you started
picture.
off with having pictures of me. It got me scared, buddy.
Yeah, I can understand. But sorry, I get your heart rate up there, and maybe your athletic directors as well.
No, I'm good.
Let's talk about roster management in this day and age of the transfer portal and the resources that you have at A&M, you have built maybe as unique a roster as we've seen in college baseball. It's not just getting Braden Montgomery, the former Pac-12 Player of the Year from Stanford, and building around Jace Laviolette, but then going into the Ivy Leagues, getting a couple of guys from there and one from Michigan. How do you and your staff attack that in an offseason?
You know, roster management's it's a year-round thing, and our rosters relative to the situation we took over, right? So Coach Childress went to 13 straight regionals and then had a couple rough years. So we inherited a team that had a lot of older players, not a lot of younger players. So in order to just be competitive the first year, we had a lot of transfers, Claunch and all those guys, and so we're trying to get it back to where it's more high school players and cherry picking the portal. But the Ivy League's a popular place because those guys go in early before their senior year.
Hey, Schloss, you guys have been, essentially top 5, top 2 for most of the entire season.
Yep.
Got time to call this.
Got it out.
That's Chestnut. One down.
It's a win.
See, this is a lot better than before, right? I mean, there was times. Exactly. All right. See how much better it is when I ask questions and Hart?
KP.
Things are so much better when that happens.
He's a winning announcer.
But you've been, it's been consistent the entire year, but consistently as good as anybody in the country. How do you keep your guys in it when everything is honestly, for the most part, going so well?
We try to just stay. I challenge them to be super mature, right, and just truly have and I know it sounds coachy, but to have an opening day mentality. How does everybody feel on opening day? You're super excited. You're honored to play, and try to have that every single day. That's really the only way you do it, and understand that we can lose to anybody, we can beat anybody. Just it all depends on how we play. Last night, played horrible. Gave up 14 free bases, and you're not going to win too many games doing that, especially not here.
They say chicks dig the long ball, and you guys have hit 105 of them, and that's really impressive. But as we talked leading into this series, maybe more impressive, the length of this batting order and the ability to get on base. How does your approach batter to batter, how do you ingrain that in your guys that it's something that you value as a team?
Swing at strikes, take balls, and start with that, and just understand that the best hitters, even the big leagues for the most part, the best hitters swing the least. Ted Williams, Science of Hitting, page 1, sentence 1, get a good pitch to hit. And unless there's a runner at third base and less than 2 outs like we just had, don't be in a hurry to hit. Get your pitch. And that might be on the first pitch. It might be on the 7th. I don't get that upset about strikeouts unless there's a runner at third base and less than 2 outs. Because I think if a coach starts to wear guys out about strikeouts, then all they're going to do is swing to avoid striking out.
Very good. We appreciate the history lesson. Appreciate the time with you. And I won't threaten the pictures ever again.
No.
Oh, you want to keep going?
Let's see if we can get through one full inning.
We'll stay. Yeah, we'll stay. Yeah, we'll ask.
You guys will
questions.
be at first. It'll be the first.
Well, the Hart was due, so at least maybe he's going to get back on your good side. I loved how you didn't really want to talk to him during the call this week.
We blame it on Chris Budden. Right? Yeah, we're blaming on her.
I remember that one too.
In the conference tournament.
Lampkin tonight, and just kind of the decision as to when you're looking at a starting pitcher, when you say, okay, it's time to go to the bullpen.
I would like to think they didn't have something on him, but it sure did go from pitching really well to getting hammered. Either they had the pitches there in that back half of that inning, or they were just sitting on off speed the whole at bat, those at bats. But I just felt like we needed to change the momentum of the game.
Is that more of a concern in this modern era of college baseball with so much technology around the game these days?
Yeah, there's just more there's different, more advanced ways to do it. And by no means do I think LSU is cheating. The base coaches are all over the pitcher the same way we are. And if they got them, that's our fault. That's a bad job by us by not concealing that or doing a better job of coaching it up. But who knows, man? Long way to go.
Wait. Here's Braden Montgomery, who's 0 for 1 of the fly out to right field. Schloss was talking about how to build a roster in the modern age of college baseball. One thing to do, and the easiest way to scout a guy, is to watch him play when he plays against you. And Braden Montgomery did just that for Stanford in the postseason last year, and he absolutely torched A&M pitching. In fact, he eliminated A&M. He hit 6 for 13 with a couple of home runs, and while he was pitching, he got a win on the mound against Texas A&M.
Yeah, and when he came to A&M too, I think they were open to putting him on the mound. He's only been out there twice this year. The reality is he's a hitter in the pros. He has a big-time arm, which is going to be an asset when he's in the outfield, but just could never really harness that into throwing strikes. When it was right, it was about unhittable. But you see, ability to control the strike zone wasn't there. Offensively, kid's got a chance to make a lot of money playing this game.
Here's the 3-1 to him, and he hammers it to center. Jake Brown will camp underneath it. Montgomery, the former Pac-12 freshman of the year. Of course, that league is fading into the ether, but a couple of guys who have come before him to have that honor all ended up in the bigs. Guys like Michael Conforto or Nick Madrigal, Andrew Vaughn, Spencer Torkelson. And there's been plenty of talent. Daniel Susac, who played for Jay Johnson at Arizona at AA, probably on his way to the big leagues right now. Here's Jackson Appel, right between the 2 and the 0. It's an 8th-hit batter from Luke Holman, a plunk.
There's nowhere to go here.
Holman's sitting at 92 pitches. Here's Hayden's shot. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And the Pen as a whole had a great weekend last weekend against Auburn. Only 2 runs over 12 2/3 innings. 1.42 ERA in the series win against the Tigers last week. The other Tigers, or I should say one of the other Tigers, back-to-back series wins against Missouri and Auburn for LSU. Little has the plainest glove I've ever seen in my life.
There was nothing on it, was there?
It's like when you go to the grocery store and you
get the stuff that just says soda.
That's right. Beer. 1-1. Did you have fun talking with Hayden Schott during the game last night?
Oh man, he's a blast. Yeah, this dude's going to be able to pick whatever he wants to do when he gets done playing. And he can come back. He could come back to A&M. He ended up getting 2 COVID years because of the way that the Ivy League handled COVID. So that's a big advantage for A&M. He can come back. Jackson Appel can come back. I think Appel's going to get a chance to play, man. I mean, you get a catcher that has thrown the way that he has this year, has walked the same number, has struck out. His offensive numbers are good. We'll see if Schott gets a chance, but if he doesn't, this is a pretty good place to hang out for another year. And I think they like having him around.
His first year in college baseball was junior college in 2019. One, 2.
You ever play fungo golf? You ever done that?
Yes, I have.
Really?
I'm just about as good as at that as I am regular golf. Probably
so you're not very good at fungo golf. I've seen the first one.
Nope.
I press if we play fungo golf.
Yeah. You think I would ever have a lead? 2-2. Or pardon me, 1-2 now to Hayden Schott. Yeah, so Hayden Schott's got him playing fungo golf as often as possible, and why not put it up on the TikTok? 97th pitch of the game from Holman. And shot. The pitch in the dirt with first base occupied is retired. Strikeout number 8.
You know, he can use the slider and almost make it look like a changeup sometimes. Gets over the top, and it's more top to bottom. And I know it's got a little bit of side to side, but velocity difference more down than anything else. But enough velocity difference for guys to get all the way out in front more, or go out and give us a little bit more time. As of now, it looks like go out and pump him up, because let's try to get him in the dugout.
We talked with Gage Jump earlier in this game, LSU's starting pitcher last night. He talked about leaving his four-seamer up a couple of times. Ali Camarillo hit him twice for a solo home run last night. Camarillo's hit safely in 12 straight. We'll keep a close eye on Appel, who was 9 for 11 on the base pass. Ball in the strike. Two balls and a strike. Ali Camarillo played in the Little League World Series in 2016 for Chula Vista Little League. His dad was a manager of that team. Holman's 101st of the night is a breaking ball outside.
It's a pretty good take right there. That's really close to being a called strike in a spot that Holman's going to get a swing most of the time. But Camarino plus count, either recognized spin or thought that was just going to be far enough off the plate to wait. Now he's worked it to a 3-1 count.
Well, the scouting report sure has changed on Camarillo. He committed that breaking ball because coming in, it seemed LSU was happy to force feed him fastballs, and he flipped that script with the 2 home runs last night. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss on the fastball. 9K. Got a stack of cups. Been a busy night. First pitch swinging and a ground ball to first. And Asher Larson is retired. Look at that guy. Shrug emoji. Yeah, you're playing hard.
Are those styrofoam cups? I mean, I've seen, like, if you're gonna load up on the stadium cups, styrofoam cups a little bit. That's a different level right there.
Here's Tommy White. Well, you think he brought them himself? Do they have a refill policy?
If so, that'd be nice. But
if you could bring your own cup, he would have come with one much larger than that. Here's Tommy White, homered last time up.
Not if you bring 10. Makes it a little easier.
St. Sadeo's 3-0 with a 2.43 ERA, 37 strikeouts against only 5 walks.
He's been one of their best out of the bullpen all year, and can give you some length too. He worked a quick 4th. Now, obviously, a quick start to the 5th here. He gets Tommy White swinging for the 2nd out. Good work. Breaking ball in the zone. Now expanded with the fastball up. Even Tommy White, who's got as good at bat-to-ball skills as anybody in college baseball. That's a tough one for anybody to catch up to. Cedillo has set down the first 5 since coming out of the bullpen.
He replaced Justin Lampkin, who had allowed back-to-back home runs to White and Jones in the 3rd and got hit really hard in that inning. And you heard Jim Schlossnagle say, I think they got us. So he needed to get Lampkin out as quickly as he could. Jones's home run was his team leading 20th of the year. And just to be clear, when a coach mentions that, it's not necessarily they're stealing our signs, but we are tipping our pitches in some way or another that they picked up on.
Which, I mean, may or may not be the case. People have been trying to steal signs forever, and that's part of the game.
And Jones sends one the opposite way. Gets all the way to the base of the wall. He'll stretch it into a double with a head-first dive. It's a 2-out double for Jared Jones. Well, to be clear, I think people hear stealing signs and they automatically assume the nefarious way that you're using technology to do so versus the traditional way, which is part of the game and has been since Mr. Doubleday.
Well, which Schloss said, is like, I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. I mean, they're doing what we're trying to do, which is take pitches. I would also tell you, speaking from experience, sometimes it makes you feel better to say that you think the other team has your signs. If they start hitting you around the ballpark.
You're speaking from experience.
Oh, I remember coming in, man. They got something. They got to have something. There's no way they could just barrel up 5 in a row like they did. And they didn't always have something other than a one-up on me that day.
It's Josh Pearson, LSU, trying to put together another 2-out rally. That's what they did in the 3rd. And Pearson fouls one off. Mentioned last night, he comes from a baseball family, including younger brother that's an LSU commit and his older brother that's a 3rd-round pick of the Angels. They were traveling so much for travel baseball and travel softball with his sisters that his dad said, forget hotels. He bought a camper. That'll save us money on hotels and on restaurants, and we can just go from campground to campground, tournament to tournament. Caught just a piece of it. Count stays 1-2. And now his dad and brothers running a hitting facility in West Monroe, Louisiana. Josh made an immediate impact. 35 starts as a freshman a couple of years ago. Was on the Hattiesburg regional team, and he goes down swinging here. The Jared Jones 2-out double. Here's Caden Sorrell. You remember we had the tournament? I don't know, probably as long as 10 years ago. And it was a late night game. It was you and me, and Laura Rutledge was working the field. And a guy down the left field line caught a foul ball in a styrofoam cup.
Nick.
Nick and his magic. It was Nick and his magic cup.
That wasn't at night, by the way. That was in the morning. That was about
another morning we hadn't slept.
I think.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, Laura followed with some hard-hitting journalism right after that and went and found him. Nick's cup might have been empty at that point, but there were other times during the evening it appeared that Nick's cup was not empty.
Jones tosses to Christian Little, the new pitcher in the game for LSU. And there's one down. Jay Johnson just raved about the confidence that he has in Christian Little. Forget about the ERA. Those numbers may be tied into his performance earlier this season, but he said you will see Christian in a high leverage situation this weekend. We've been more efficient with how we're calling his pitches. We're putting him in a better spot to succeed, and that trust has grown.
Tell you what, man, it's cool to see for a kid that burst onto the scene. I mean, he was a 17-year-old freshman at Vanderbilt throwing in the College World Series. He started game 2 of the finals. And at that point, you look at Christian Little and go, I mean, this is a first rounder in 2 years. And it didn't go the way that he thought it would, and I think others thought it would. He transfers to LSU. It's been up and down since he's been at LSU, but the stuff really plays, and the confidence is back. It's cool to see a kid get back to where he really believes in his stuff. Because I can tell you this, his coaching staff really believes in him right now.
What a journey it's been. Discussing him this week with Jay Johnson as Travis Chestnut settles in 2-1. And he said we absolutely brought him in to be a starter or to be our closer. There was a key role for Christian Little when we brought him to campus. Two and two. Asphalt that averages just a tick below 95 miles an hour. Also throws a cutter and a curveball. We'll mix in a changeup. Little dribbler to third. Tommy White lets it go foul.
He's going to get a chance, man. I mean, I don't know where he goes in the draft, but I'll tell you this. He's going to get a chance to get in somebody's system and go pitch, and it wouldn't shock me if you look up in 3 or 4 years and Christian Little's knocking on the door to pitch in the big leagues. I mean, he's still just 21 years old. It feels like he's been in college baseball for a long time.
Really has. 2-2 pitch.
Yes, he did.
Got a sword. 10th strikeout for A&M tonight. 2 down.
Rob Friedman says hello, Tom Hart. A two-seamer that is not easy to hold off on, and that's the thing. Combine it with the slider that's getting better, and you got to protect the outside part of the plate. Hand start early right there for Chestnut. Christian Little has his first strikeout since coming in.
Pinch hitter for Texas A&M. This will be Blake Benderup. He is 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter this season. Freshman from right there in College Station. He's hitting in Targacz's spot. And he looks at a first pitch strike. Benderup's got 8 starts to his name this season. Product out of College Station High School. Is a big dude. 6'6", 230. Nothing at 2. Mike Elko might want him as a tight end. Hasn't started since the first SEC series of the season, though. In fact, he's only appeared in 2 games since that opening series at Florida in mid-March. They are fully lubricated tonight. Benderup pops it up. Jared Jones will chase to the railing. Benderup redshirted last year. Well, there's mom and dad are Aggies. The 0-2. Curveball out of the zone. And little in Baton Rouge. Hayden Travinski owns an RBI single tonight. Big cut there. He is 1 for 2. Bounced to a fielder's choice to close the first, and then drove in a run as part of that 3-run third that allowed LSU to tie this. One and 2. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good comp, but I think there's a better comp.
Oh,
if I were
copter,
he was in the
Lamborghini.
helicopter.
Yeah.
He was in the helicopter. He jumped out of a helicopter one time.
TC was the helicopter pilot, and Braswell going back to find some more pine tar.
That's pretty good Magnum PI knowledge. That's like rolling back B.A. Baracus in the A-team right there.
Yeah, I could hold my own some 80s television trivia. Michael Braswell III is 0 for 2 tonight. Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have.
There you
Facts
have.
of life.
Look out! Here comes Tootie.
Low and in on Braswell. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bender upstate in the game. He's over at first. And Braswell shoots it to right center field. This one is into the leather of Braden Montgomery. And there are 2 down. Next stop on the F1 schedule is the 3rd.
You've been in one of those races? You've been to an F1 race? I've been to an Indy. I went to the Indy 500 one time. I have not been to an F1 race, but that's on the list.
Did you go on carburetor day?
Did not go on carburetor day. No, I was 14. Went the year that Ari Lyondike won.
Well, if I were to comp that to 80s television, I would say that's just different strokes. F1 versus Indy. There was a conversation going on today about the Kentucky Derby and kind of the exclusivity about it. And it was pointed out, and I can't confirm this, but you go to the Indy 500, you can just bring in a cooler full of whatever you want. Is that
I think
accurate?
in the infield you can. Yeah, I think in the infield you can. But there's more silver spoons at the Kentucky Derby, but
here's a 3-1. There's ball 4. Well, Sadeo was cruising, and then it went St. Elsewhere, and now he's got to continue with Jake Brown down in the 8-hole. And we'll have a pinch hitter. This is Ethan Fry, sophomore from Rose Pine, Louisiana. Pinch hitting. Plenty of opportunities for both teams. In fact, A&M left the bases loaded in the 4th inning. Suffering some growing pains. They couldn't get that full house home. 0-1 is in the dirt.
For Fried, I mean, there's not a lot of family ties to this LSU team, but there's others that have them. You see it so often with this LSU team. Those that have had family members that have played here. We talked about Pearson's little brother that has committed already.
Snap throw to first. Man, Milam would have been the fall guy had he been picked off there. One ball, 2 strikes. Got started a little late tonight. We had a 30-minute delay waiting for some weather to move through the area. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Had us on Baywatch. Now pushing it back even later. Ground ball to short. Who's the boss? To second for 1, and didn't need a double play. Only needed 1. Oh, here's Gavin Grahovac. And he fights off the first offering from Christian Little. 0-1. Grahovac doubled and scored in the first. And 0-2. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. 3 straight Ks now for Christian Little.
This is fun to watch, man. I mean, it's just he's in control of everything. He started throwing, or at least it looks like he's throwing the cutter a little bit more, and then he can add a little bit more depth to it, take some velocity off of it. But I think the biggest thing is everything has conviction. You can see the body language and the way that he's going about everything. It's cool to see from Christian Little.
Now he's got to deal with Jace Laviolette. Earlier this season, Christian Little had a game against Mississippi State back in mid-March. He allowed 5 earned in 2/3 of an inning. That was a 15-5 LSU loss. Misses away with the off speed. In the last 4 games, he hasn't allowed a single earned run. When an inning and 2/3 last time out against Auburn in game 3 last weekend. 2-1 now. Four home runs on the season for Laviolette, and is that the cutter? Didn't go, according to Scott Klein.
Yeah, it looked like it. I like Milazzo. Let's check first. Nope, never mind. Let's check third. Check them both. Hold on.
Just keep asking until you get the answer you like.
That's right. Worst thing I can tell you is no right there.
Laviolette has struck out each of his last 2 plate appearances after a walk to start. And frozen with that one. 4 consecutive Ks for Little, who was gaining confidence every time the ball leaves his hand.
Yeah, he is. 3 of them swinging. This one looking. Looks like a slider he's throwing away. Slider, a cutter that just backs right over that outside part of the plate.
And now Braden Montgomery offers at the first, 0-1. '64 starts for Stanford last year, hit 17 home runs at a .364 average. 97 away, man. Second college stop for Montgomery, also 2 different high school stops, including Germantown High School in Mississippi before finishing at Central High School. And nice tandem, 1 and 2. Uses NIL money to put a new floor in the locker room at Germantown High School this past offseason. 1-2 pitch. 98 to the backstop.
That's the first time he's really let a fastball go. I think that's one of the changes for Little is that the velocity is still there, but he's pitching more with a cutter. He's pitching more with a slider. That time tried to grab the four-seamer and let it go and showed you that there's still a little gas in there.
Full count. You thinking cutter here?
That's what he's most comfortable with. I would think so.
This dude can hit him long ways. Montgomery's 6'2", 220. When he was a junior in high school, he had yet to hit his growth spurt. He had a collision playing the outfield with a teammate. He got the x-rays back and they revealed the growth plates were still wide open. That was at 16 years old. It was after he had a 5-inch growth spurt the summer before his junior year, 5'7" to 6 feet. Payoff pitch on the way. Missed low, ball 4. First base runner to reach against Christian Little. He'd retired 5 straight. Pitching behind Luke Holman out of the bullpen, and here's Jackson Appel. We had Jim Schlossnagle on earlier in the game. He talked about recruiting the Ivy League guys, and it is a unique situation in a lot of the sports. Baseball and basketball in particular, they will enter the transfer portal before their final year at their Ivy League school, and they'll already know their destination. Schloss was telling us, picked up the phone to call the Penn coach, and I felt a little awkward saying, I'd like to talk to you about Appel. I'm not quite sure how this works. He goes, don't worry about it. My third baseman's going to Georgia. I got 2 left-handed pitchers going to Virginia. I've already had these conversations. 1-1.
Well, at the end, they can't go back. I mean, you get 4 years eligibility. That's it, period, at the Ivy Leagues. And so if you've run out with it, you still have another year of NCAA eligibility. It can't be in an Ivy League school, so might as well go somewhere else. And we're seeing that all across college baseball. It's not going to change.
Nice and easy for Jared Jones. National champions in a precarious postseason position coming into this weekend. Got a win that last night against #1 Texas A&M. And fighting tooth and nail to take the series. We're deadlocked at 3 in the bottom of the 7th. Alex Milazzo up. That is the Intimidator behind the bleachers in right field. The font keeps getting smaller and smaller on the dates of the national championships. Here's the 2-1. Shane Sadeo going into his 4th inning of work. Milazzo is 0 for 2 tonight. His second plate appearance against Sadeo. And there's ball 4. LSU came from behind to win last night. They need all the help they can get. Not to be derogatory, but you know, they would have earned it, but they would have been among the last to get in, right?
Fair. Yeah.
And then they show up where? Terre Haute as a 3 seed, and Indiana State is saying thank you very much. I mean, the idea, yes, they would have earned a 3 seed, and of course they would be on the road. But man, can this lineup do damage?
The lineup can do damage, yeah, when they get going. But I think the other thing is they have a real 1-2. And if you're going to make a run through the postseason, you have to have a real 1-2. There's exceptions, but there's not too many. Gates Jump has really come on the second half of the season. Holman didn't have his good stuff tonight. He still took them through 5 and has given them a chance. So if you have a real 1-2 and an offense that, you know, this isn't Georgia's offense. This isn't A&M's offense. But it's an offense that can do some damage. Yeah, you don't want to see LSU rolling into town in the postseason. I can tell you that.
By the way, the Raging Cajuns over at the University of Louisiana Lafayette might be in the mix to host. You think that'd be a tough ticket?
Yeah, I mean, they got some RPI work to do. That's the biggest thing for the Cajuns. They got to pick some RPI points up. But yeah, I mean, you send LSU down the road, they'd probably show up for that one.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Mentioned Indiana State a moment ago. They're looking to host for the 2nd straight year. Sycamores knocked off Belmont today, 8-5. Swing and a miss and a pitch in the dirt. First base occupied, and Larson out via the K. Milazzo able to hustle to second on the wild pitch. Speaking about a lineup that can do some damage when they get going, this guy got going with 2 outs in the 3rd.
He got going and it got LSU going. At this point, they were scoreless, no more. Solo home run right there. Jared Jones would follow with one of his own, a double by Josh Pearson. He would come around to score on the Hayden Travinsky single, and that got LSU right back in this thing. But yeah, any offense that has that dude, they got a chance to do some damage. There for Aschenbeck, 54 strikeouts and 5 walks over the year. That works.
Yikes. Tommy White with a chopper up the middle. Sidearm from Camarillo. And there's 2 down. The ground out advanced Milazzo to 3rd.
That's a pretty good play, man. That's not easy. He had to go deep. And you know that second hop, because it's a top spin ground ball, is going to go a lot higher than you think. So Camarillo giving ground the entire time. Watch that second hop. Giving ground. He's got to make the throw all the way from the grass. Jason Johnson, the second base umpire, is going to go bailing away for a minute. Camarillo's had a really solid defensive year at shortstop, and now they'll put Jared Jones on first base.
So the intentional walk brings Josh Pearson up. Aschenbeck gets it to the backstop. Scrambling home from 3rd is Milazzo. And LSU takes the lead on a wild pitch. Second wild pitch this inning.
And Appel just couldn't get his body out there. And Aschenbeck all the way in there. And it's probably too far regardless. But this is where dropping to one knee makes it a lot tougher to go lateral. I mean, watch. There's no body movement. It's just his glove. And if you're on 2 feet, it's a lot easier to slide over and try to block that ball. There he can't. Gets by him, and the Tigers have the lead. First one of the night.
And now 2-0 to Pearson. LSU came from behind to take game 1 last night. Aschenbeck's 2-1 pitch. Low. 0 runs allowed for Aschenbeck over his last 3 appearances. And the walk to Jones was intentional. This one wasn't. But he hadn't walked anybody in 4 games. So only 1 walk over his previous about 12. Two on with 2 out, and Hayden Travinski coming to the plate. Swung at the first and a chopper to third. Grahovac to second for 1. That's all they need. But 2 wild pitches. Alabama coverage continues all week on the SEC network until we get to the semis Friday and championship game Saturday, all on ESPN2. Hayden shot at the plate. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Couple of strikeouts. And he's reached on an error. The ball's 2 strikes. Got a 19-game on-base streak on the line. One ball, 2 strikes. Mentioned a couple times he went to Culver Military Academy in Indiana. That's same school that produced people like Bud Adams, Lamar Hunt, Tal Smith, Roger Penske, Walter O'Malley. Military school, 2-2. Fouled out of play. George Steinbrenner also. Culver Military Academy. They've got the Steinbrenner Performing Arts Center on campus.
It's an esteemed list.
Reach for it. And Milam does the same. Little toss to retire. Shot. 1 down. How do you think you would have fared at a military school?
Probably would have been a short stint. I don't know that it would have gone great. Probably would have been a good idea.
But what would have been the undoing? The formation in the morning, or polishing all the brass, the collection of demerits?
Yeah, now we're getting there. Yeah. The old demerit card was not my favorite in high school.
Eli Camarillo is 1 for 2. The sac fly drove in a run in the first.
That's when I got 5 demerits one day, and I think we've talked about this before, for wearing a dickie instead of a collar.
Excuse me?
They caught me. They caught me.
How'd they catch you?
Well,
little tapper back to the mound. Little gathers. Hold on, just to be clear, the dickie kind of like from
it's
Christmas
like the
Vacation?
little halvesy collar. Yeah, it's like the little halvesy collar thing that you would wear, but we had to wear collars, and I didn't want to wear a collar, so I put that on one day and put a sweatshirt over it. And then I got called to the dean's office. That was 5 demerits, which meant I had to go hang out on Saturday. It was not. I didn't think it really called for that heavy of a punishment, but apparently it did. I would assume the punishment would have been a little bit more severe at military school.
Caden Sorrell at the plate. I feel like you could have just put on a normal shirt. Like the effort you went into bending the rules just for the sake of trying to get away with it.
It's
probably
breathable,
orange.
It's a lot more breathable.
It
was freedom of movement. There was a lot of positives to it, but ended up being a negative too.
Want to know the count to Sorrell. That'll be another show that we can only air after hours. Fouled off, 1-2.
Look at that. I love
96.
this from Milazzo. I love this, man. Milazzo pointing at him, shaking his head like, yes, 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 keep going. I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, hyping him up.
Especially for little. Yeah. I mean, keep believing in your stuff, and it helps when 11,000 are on their feet. But that's the leader you want behind home plate.
Wants this one up. 11,751 in the building tonight. What a scene. 2-2 pitch. Now to Sorrell from Christian Little. Fly ball into right field. Well hit. Back to the wall. And it is caught on the track by Ashton Larson. Braswell is 0 for 3. Looks at a strike, 0-1.
First 3 guys of the game reached and scored for A&M. Other than that, they left him loaded in the 4th. And they had him loaded with nobody out. And Holman went punch out, punch out, punch out to get out of it. Really, other than that, it is. It's been really impressive on the mound for LSU. PitchCom issue. Now we're good.
Michael Braswell III transferred in from South Carolina. His first taste of college baseball in a rivalry game against Clemson when he first got to campus. He homered in his first college game. And he really simplified when he was asked about it afterwards. Fly ball deep into the corner, and that is foul, untouched. He said it's just a game. Take everything else away. Playing in the SEC, the fans and all that. It's just a game. And if you can't have fun with that, then what's the point?
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Out of Campbell High School in Atlanta, Georgia. Chestnut bobbled and can't recover. And Braswell reaches to start the 8th. Defense didn't travel for A&M. They committed 3 errors last night.
Yeah, defense and free runners, and this is not what A&M has been so far this year. You heard Jim Schlossing will talk about 14 free passes or in some way or another last night, and then tonight it's been an error right here. It was a wild pitch that ended up allowing the go-ahead run to finish. I mean, we talk about A&M's offense, and A&M's offense has been outstanding the whole year, but the defense has been really good and been great these last 2 days.
Came in 6th in the country in fielding percentage. Stephen Milam failed to get the bunt down. 0-1. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Milam had a couple of hits last night. Down the line, that's a fair ball. Headed towards third is Braswell. Sorrell ran out from underneath his hat, and it's a double for Steven Milam.
All right, so Milam showed bunt earlier in this at bat. And anytime you're going to do that, generally that's going to bring the corners in, which it does right here. So bring the corners in. And whether or not you're guarding the third baseline, if you're into that point, I mean, that's just in a spot nobody can make the play. If he's playing deep, maybe. If you're playing in, trying to guard against the bunt, no way you're going to do that. Milam puts it in the right place, and the Tigers have two in scoring position with nobody out.
Strike called on the first pitch to Paxton Kling. He's getting his first plate appearance tonight. Or pardon me, second. .207 average for Kling. Out of Roaring Springs, Pennsylvania, went to Central High School in Martinsburg. Grew up playing football and basketball and was playing 7-on-7 in the summers instead of baseball for a long time. 3-1, and then was the Gatorade Player of the Year, senior of high school. He had 566 for an undefeated state championship team. They went 27-0. 23 of their 27 wins came by the mercy rule. Fouled it off. 3-2. Koki Riley writing for the Baton Rouge Advocate had a great description of what it was like growing up in the Kling household. They played ball in the backyard, the wiffle ball, and played wiffle ball. The tree stump was the left field foul pole. If he hit the ball into the swimming pool or onto the deck, it was a home run, and that made a short porch to right. Skied it to shallow center. Laviolette makes a catch. No tag on the strong throw in from Laviolette.
At that point.
Here's Alex Milazzo. Drew a walk and scored his last time up. That was quite the humble brag. We're playing wiffle ball, and if you hit it off the 5th floor of our mansion, it counted for 10 runs. Is that what it was? A little, the audience was just told?
Split level in Elkhorn, Nebraska. Come on.
Milazzo looks at a fastball 2-0. Milazzo from Zachary, Louisiana. He was #3 player in the state. He had to come back from some serious injuries as a youth player, and he was 14 years old. He got hit in the face, shattered the maxilla bone. That's the palate. They had to implant an inch. Coach came out and found his tooth sitting on home plate. 3-1.
When was this?
He was 14 years old.
You know who that coach probably was?
It might have been Ben McDonald.
Yes. He made it into a necklace. He still got it.
Cufflinks. Full count. This is only either Ben McDonald or somebody played for Ben McDonald. Draft day, he was on his way to fish in a place called Mosquito Lagoon when he took a call from the Rangers offering a couple $100,000, turned it down, said, no, I'm going to LSU and I got to get to Mosquito Lagoon and go fishing. Payoff pitch to Milazzo. Up the middle. Sneaks through. Another run will score as Braswell makes it a 2-run lead. And it's an RBI single for Alex Milazzo.
Yeah, you can see infield not totally in on the grass, but they're playing even. And I don't know what that jump was. I tell you what you're probably doing there if you're Camarillo, which is not the best thing to do all the time, is trying to read pitch location. So if he thinks it's fastball in, he thinks.
Freshman out of Overland Park, Kansas, in his first year in college ball. He's already signed with his summer league team. He's going to be playing for the Wausau Woodchucks in the Northwoods League. '20th round pick of the Twins in last summer's draft out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Sends a ground ball foul. You've never been to a Wausau Woodchucks game?
I have not been to a Woodchucks game. I have been to Wausau. I've not been to a Woodchucks game.
Fond of like dock spiders? No?
No. See how far deep you can go on this one.
It's about the extent. Slides in for strike 3, and that'll sit Larson down. First strikeout for Aschenbeck. He's got Tommy White now.
Never too many against this A&M offense, even though they only have one more at bat. Tommy White can change things pretty quickly. Solo home run earlier tonight, his 19th of the year.
One and 0. LSU team starting to hit its stride. An A&M team that is not playing up to its reputation this weekend. You mentioned the free passes that Schloss relayed when we talked to him earlier. 5 errors also this weekend for A&M. The previous high in the series was 3. And a swing-high grounder from Tommy White helps extend the lead. RBI single gives him his second ribby of the night, and it's now 6-3.
Even when he doesn't barrel it up, he's still got a chance to do some damage, and Tommy White does it again. That's just not the guy you want to see walking the plate if you're A&M and there's guys on base. Off the end of the bat, gets enough of it. Surprised they weren't playing a little bit more pull side or some kind of a small shift right there, but it's not on. I guess you don't against White because he can shoot it the other way, but that time shoots it back up the middle, drives in another, extends the LSU lead, and that will do it for Aschenbeck. He's been pushed into that role to where everybody is looking at him.
Jared Jones at the plate. And the first offering misses away from Brock Perry. 21st appearance, pitched twice the same day against Georgia in the doubleheader last week. One and 1. Perry's a transfer from Arizona State, 6'1" right-hander. One and 2 now.
His dad was a Sun Devil and a pretty darn good one. Threw the exact same way. Noah Perry. Early 90s for the Devils when they had it going.
Did you play against his dad in college?
I just missed it.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Brock Perry was named after the late Jim Brock, the legendary Arizona State coach and college baseball Hall of Famer. Here's the payoff. And there's ball 4. Pearson coming up. He'll be the 8th batter of the inning for LSU.
It's amazing the difference 2 nights can make as far as confidence for a team. And we'll see if LSU can hold on to this. But I mean, you go a season where you're scuffling off winning the national championship. Number 1 team in the country comes in, and they are the number 1 team in the country. A&M is that good. But LSU has taken advantage of some mistakes the first 2 nights. Put themselves in a position to win the series tonight, potentially play for a sweep tomorrow, and totally change the postseason outlook over the course of 1 weekend. It doesn't affect A&M from a postseason standpoint. A&M can get swept; they're still in the same spot. It's a big difference for LSU.
That being the case, does it change how you view Texas A&M at all?
No. No, it doesn't. They've kicked it around. They haven't thrown as many strikes. No, it doesn't. I've seen enough this year.
Deep to left and a hop and a catch for Surratt.
To 38 with 1 win, so it's going to go up some today. And that record against the top 50 obviously continues to go up too. It cannot be overstated how important this weekend is and will be to LSU as far as the postseason goes.
Ted Burton pinch hitting.
And honestly, at this point, it can't be overstated how good Christian Little was tonight. I mean, since he's come into the bullpen, it's 3 out of the bullpen, 3 scoreless to this point. He's punched out 4. Griffin Herring was that guy that LSU really relied on out of the bullpen. He was very good last night. Went the last 2 1/3, held it down. They get the win. Now they got another one that they trust at the back end and can give you length if you need him to do it. Little has done that today.
It's already the longest outing of the season for Little, and Flair gets into right center field where Paxton Kling gets to it. And a leadoff single with a pinch hit for Ted Burton. And he'll be lifted for a pinch runner.
And Burton was right in the middle of his lineup and really has been in the middle of this lineup the last month or so. He's been on a tear, but wasn't moving great down the first base line. I would assume that's why he didn't start today, but gets a pinch hit look in the 9th. Gets on there and now gives the Aggies a chance. Caden Kett comes in to run right now. 9-hole hitter, and then you turn it over to the dudes who can do a lot of damage.
Blake Benderup looks at a first pitch strike. There is movement in the LSU bullpen. You just wonder if they're pushing Christian Little too far. He's been excellent in his 3 innings of relief to this point. Caught it for a strike, 0-2. Ulloa was magnificent last night. Justin Moore, the lefty, has been up a couple of times this evening.
I think you play matchup after this. I think Little is in there to try to get Bender up now, and regardless of what happens, I think you go to the bullpen.
Goes to the slider for strike 3 called.
These to me are the toughest decisions for a head coach. Is when do you go get somebody? And Little has been outstanding so far, and obviously a big strikeout right here. But now you're facing the guys that can really do damage. Grahovac, Lavalette, Montgomery. We already showed you. I mean, it's over 30 home runs in SEC games this year, and here they come.
First pitch strike to Gavin Grahovac. He doubled to start this game. 16 home runs in the season and 56 pitches for Little right now. Far and away the most of any outing this year, and he's ahead in the count 0-2.
You got to slow him
Jay
down
Johnson.
too.
Yeah.
You got to slow him down. I mean, he's in such a rhythm right now that if you're A&M, it's step out, call an offensive timeout, do something to try to break rhythm.
0-2 to Grahovac. High fly foul. Like it was going to reach the New Bridge. I think it also speaks to the confidence that Jay Johnson has in Christian Little. To not just get 3 shutout out of him, but to stick with him. And it's been a very simple attack. He's mixed in that 4-seamer a couple of times, the cutter a lot. And he wanted that one.
Good pitch, good take. Where he wanted to throw it right there, if Grahovac goes after it, I think the best he can do is probably foul it off. But for Little, the ideal 0-2. Close enough that you may get a chase, but in a spot that they're probably not going to do any damage.
Grahovac swings and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts. 6 Ks in relief for Christian Little, and he's got 1 huge out still to go.
It's really cool to see for a kid that has fought a ton of adversity over the last few years to come back in a role like this, be as good as he is in this spot, and then the length that he's given him tonight.
And his biggest challenge of the night, Jace Laviolette. Little got him looking in the 7th. And he starts him off with 97. There's plenty of juice left in the arm. Here's 61 pitches in.
It just shows you how few 4-seamers Little is throwing anymore. Everything is cutters, sliders, off speed, and then he shows you he can still run it up there if he wants to. He just doesn't do it as much. He's changed approach almost entirely.
Back-to-back 4-seamers, 2-0. I think it was a changeup that he got Laviolette looking at to close the previous strikeout. Three straight fastballs, 2-1.
That reaction right there shows you where Laviolette doesn't want it. He was looking out over the plate 2-0, looking for something to drive. Fastball in on his hands, and the hands rose up. If you can do it again, that's a pretty good spot to live.
Cutter hit on the ground to the right side past Milam, and Kent will come all the way around to score from second base. And that'll bring Braden Montgomery up. They had a lefty and a righty getting loose behind Christian Little. They're not going to either one.
Left side switch hitter. More home runs from the left than the right, so they'll turn to the right side and bring Laura on to try to finish this one off.
.386 from the left side, 271 from the right side, and home runs 18-5. A huge difference. Couple of walks. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Ground ball to short. Braswell bobbles it and kicks it into center field, and A&M still has life in this 9th inning.
Well, it's hard hit, but it's definitely a ball that and a play that should have been made. Braswell going glove side, just crawls up his glove the minute he can't field it cleanly. Everybody's going to advance. So you get a switch hitter in Montgomery, now another switch hitter in Appel coming up. Something in the gap right here will tie it up.
Appel's already driven in a run tonight with a sac fly in the first inning. And Lohr After they turn around Montgomery, will not be used to turn around Appel. I don't close the door for LSU and get them a much needed series win against the #1 team in the country. Two on and two out. Guidry's got one save this season. It came back on February 24th against Northern Illinois.
And the key for Guidry, pitch number 1, and that was big right there. He loves the slider, gets ahead, he's going to stay with it.
That one gets. Did it hit him? It wasn't ruled a hit by pitch from Bradley. Should have been a dead ball and nobody advances.
I don't know how it didn't hit him.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, watch where this is tracking. Right out of his hand, it's a slider, and you think, oh, right in front of his foot. Yeah, and Milazzo throws his whole body at it. It's an interesting approach by Milazzo. Didn't try to block it. He kind of threw his glove at it. But now, tying run, standing in scoring position.
That's Montgomery at second base. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Jackson Appel. And a breaking ball hammered into center field. Kling on the run. Got there. And LSU made it interesting, but holds on to get the win and
side. Switch hitter. More home runs from the left than the right, so they'll turn to the right side and bring Lohr on to try to finish this one off.
.386 from the left side, .271 from the right side, and home runs 18-5. A huge difference. A couple of walks. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Ground ball to short. Braswell bobbles it and kicks it into center field, and A&M still has life in this 9th inning.
Well, it's hard hit, but it's definitely a ball that, and a play that should have been made. Braswell going glove side, just crawls up his glove the minute he can't field it cleanly. Everybody's going to advance. So you get a switch hitter in Montgomery, now another switch hitter in Appel coming up. Something in the gap right here will tie it up.
Appel's already driven in a run tonight with a sac fly in the 1st inning. And Lohr, after they turn around Montgomery, will not be used to turn around Appel, I don't